While it may look like that we are in a quaint town by the hills, that's actually not the case, rather far from it. We are at the headquarters, a hustling and bustling facility of KPIT Technologies. Founded in 1990 and headquartered in Pune, KPIT Technologies employs around 13,000 people. They're at the forefront of automotive innovation, transforming the industry with their advanced engineering and mobility solutions. KPIT excels in developing cutting-edge software for electric and autonomous cars, creating seamless connected vehicle systems and providing top-tier diagnostics. As a trusted partner to leading manufacturers and suppliers, KPIT is driving the future of mobility, pushing the boundaries of what's possible in the automotive world. And today we are with the founder and CEO of KPIT Technologies, the man behind this visionary idea. Thank you for joining us on News9, Mr. Patil. And I want to begin by asking a very basic but a very fundamentally important question, which I think will set the tone for the conversation that we are going to have. How is KPIT Technologies different from a typical IT services provider? Because, by the way, you have that word technology in your name as well. And I think you have the best vantage point for it, since before 2018, you were a IT service provider.
So thank you for asking me that question. So many people actually are confused about that part. But basically, KPIT is really focused on engineering, research and development. And basically the science part of it and software part of it and the technology, which is a automotive specific domain part of it. And it is as much of a domain part, as much of a engineering, as much as it is software. That is the main difference between a normal software services company versus KPIT. And the key foundation of KPIT is about the domain knowledge and the innovation.
Right.
That makes it really a tech company.
All right. And sir, since you had that vision, you essentially did spearhead that initiative where you decided to convert KPIT from a typical IT services company into a company that focuses on providing technology and software services to auto sector, a very niche sector that too. How did you sell this vision to your shareholders, sir? Because just to add for some context for our viewers, back in 2018, I think just 4 years prior to that, Mr. Elon Musk said, we finally have the first computer on wheels, right? And especially in a market like India, where even now the adoption of it, EVs, I mean, so many people have such reservations about buying EVs now. 6 years back, how did you sell this idea and vision to your shareholders and the board?
See, I think the whole strategy of KPIT is about the leadership part, and we felt that the biggest disruption was happening in automotive and mobility, and the main disruption was happening because two things. One is the strong new domains which we are getting into in terms of electrification than the conventional powertrain, autonomous and many and so on and so forth. And the second part was this disruption was happening at a time when most of the OEMs were really not ready for that. So we felt that if we are in a position to focus on this exclusively, and we can really build the global presence which the KPIT is, then we may be in a position to really get into a leadership position. And that is also corroborated by the fact that just like earlier, the highest spent and highest new technology penetration was in banking. Now the highest penetration of technology is in automotive, and that's basically was very clear to us. And that's why we set up the company. As much as we set it up here, we set it up also in Europe, so that the global companies could see a holistic picture of technology, domain, and the focus on automotive.
And so you made some brilliant points over there, and I think for the benefit of our viewers, it's very important to point out that, you know, how this space and technology in this space has particularly evolved in the last half a decade or so. I mean, it was not too long back that primarily the role of technology in cars was limited to infotainment systems, and now we are you know, talking about cars that are primarily going to be driven by you know, auto companies. What's your thought on that?
Absolutely, I think it is every part of the car has a software, and the software content has more than tripled in last many years. Whether it is the basic conventional powertrain, which has more to the electrification, the batteries, the overall charging infrastructure. You go to autonomous, you go to connected, you go to the body, or you go to the basic operating systems of the car. So everything is about software.
Right.
So I think it is not only one part which was there, but it's a multiple fold in the automotive systems.
And so since we have made such massive strides in the last 4 or 5 years, and not to mention countries like India, emerging markets, they are yet to adapt or, you know, adopt those technologies. What are your thoughts? I mean, what happens in the next 5 years? What's the next big thing, next big break, so to say, for the you know, auto sector and technology?
See, this technology field, we believe that next 10 years, there is still the technologies will evolve, better technologies. Like if you look at electrification, the more efficient electrification,
Right.
batteries, alternative energies, alternative batteries will come in. Autonomous is yet to mature, and there is a long way to go on that. The third thing is a lot of technologies have come within the car, but outside the car, how basically it becomes like a third living space outside the home and office. So what are the new technologies and services can be consumed by the user? So it's a very, very fascinating and fast evolving space.
Now, Mr. Patil, in this space particularly, there are many buzzwords floating out: artificial intelligence, self-driving cars, autonomous, and particularly AI. You know, we are adopting that in multiple aspects of our life, right? But what and how do you integrate in a car? How is that? What's the vision for that?
The biggest use case of AI in the car is, of course, autonomous.
Right.
So basically, I mean, just to give you one simple example, if you have to do a homologation or fit for the road, if you have to see the car, typically the car has to run on the road for so many you know, hours, so many miles basically. And if you look at the autonomous car, it has to do 100 million miles. Now 100 million miles cannot be done on the road of autonomous car, specifically when the people are not used to an autonomous car on the road. So almost majority, means 95, 97, 98% is done in a virtual world, simulated environment. The whole testing, etc. does. The rest all is basically what the only couple of percent actually happens on the road. So this is, the whole thing is about the data, data about multiple things, and really making that actually makes different algorithms and different makes it an autonomous car. And that's really the main part of the car, which is completely AI driven. But I must say now, in everything and everywhere, AI is there. I mean, even for example, electrification, the battery, I mean, I just read about it, a research report where a university, OEM and a tech company worked together in US, and they were in a position to reduce in a battery 40% of the content of lithium. For lithium battery, so that much lithium they could cut down by using AI. Right. Also, the way the battery charge, discharge, and those kind of things, a lot of algorithms are being used. Apart from that, I think the main thing I believe in future, if you go on the overall experience of the car, and the personalization of the car, where I see the biggest use of AI.
So, Mr. Patil, you were talking about, you know, virtual testing. I mean, how Indian proof would that virtual testing be? Because we have a problem of potholes. We are not the best drivers. There's a bike coming around all the way, and overall there's a lot of flouting of traffic rules, so to say. When and how soon will we see probably a self-driven or an autonomous car on Indian roads, sir?
See, the autonomous is a journey, and it is not that there is a directly autonomous means a completely self-driven car. Even today in the world, in no economy you can see only by exception, but not as a rule. So autonomy has a multiple levels. So one simple is 2+ level, as we call the basic level now, which most of the companies or premium models, I would say, are bringing it. Then there is a level 3. Basically, you introduce the self-parking. When the parking, is there, a car can basically park itself. Still not, I would say, where it can find a parking, but I'm sure it will get there in some time. And then there is a 4th where the driver is there, but basically he's just supervising. It's basically car is driving by itself, but it is with a driver. And the last is the driverless car. Now the point is there are different applications which can happen. For example, in the factories, inside a factory, there can be a driverless car today because it's a environment which is compact, or it is self-regulated environment, or campuses, or you can say airports. There are multiple areas where this kind of cars or vehicles can come. We believe also in commercial vehicle, or for example, pickup trucks, etc. That can come also quicker, and so there are multiple use cases where this kind of autonomy can come. I must tell you, there is, just like there are many disadvantages we see in Indian market, there are certain advantages. Our average speed on the road is much lower as compared to any other part, which makes it also in some sense more controlled, easier in some sense. The last but not least, if you look at it, I mean, when I look at it personally, when you are in a traffic jam, the worst stress is, when the car is driving inch by inch. And I'm sure it's a very easy application to build, because it can really sense that kind of an environment completely. So I think it's a journey, and can be very useful cases. I mean, I personally, when my car already has certain autonomy on the vehicle road, and I was very surprised to see actually it works even on the roads when it is raining. Certain functions do work. So yeah, I mean, it's not clearly, you are not thinking about a full autonomy, and which I don't think in any part of the world is so visible immediately.
There are steps too.
There are steps, and I'm sure we will have our own journey.
And sir, I mean, fascinating statements that you made over there. The pace at which this technology is moving, we are talking about autonomous cars, we are talking about electric vehicles, and my question stems from another industry where we saw such a fast adoption, where the pace of change was so quick. Telecom being one, many rural parts of India moved directly from 2G to 4G. They skipped 3G altogether. Do you see that happening in India and other emerging markets, where we perhaps skip that for early iterations of EV and move directly to self-driving cars, perhaps make the first foray in commercial vehicles?
So one or two things I would say. First, the second part about that drones using.
Yeah,
they are also basically in some way autonomous, right? So that's another application where the people are looking at deliveries, etc. That can happen quicker in India. Right. I mean, it's possible. We have much better application there.
Let's just focus now and talk about this industry at large, because we started this conversation with drawing parallels between a traditional IT company and a company like KPIT, which is operating in auto sector specifically. We are seeing a stark difference in the reality of your situations. Your KPIT is growing, is seeing stupendous growth both in terms of revenue and headcount, and other companies, other IT companies, software companies, for multiple quarters, I mean, they are going through a rough patch, right? The revenue growth has been rather flattish, the headcount is going down. what makes a company like KPIT stand out and perhaps defend itself in an environment which is, proving to be very difficult?
Yeah, I think we have picked up a place where we have been investing in this for much longer time than other companies. Maybe I can easily say about 20 years. So when we formed the partnership with Cummins 20 years back, from there our deep domain knowledge about the powertrain and then starting that journey. So it's a long time KPIT has been invested in this, and not only in really making investment in terms of research, really investment in terms of R&D and looking at the new technology. So that is the special. I think we are one of the very, I do not know others, but I can talk about us, is we really invest substantial amount in R&D. And that is one part. The second is we are clearly, because it's a focus, the clear goal is the global leadership in terms of technology. And we are not a pure service provider or technology provider as many service providers companies are. We are playing a meaningful role in a mobility system where we are playing a role of 0.5 tier, or we call as a system, pure play system integrator, which works closely with OEM and orchestrate the value across the value chain, which is semiconductor company, cloud company, tier ones. And that's why, some people call it 0.5 tier software player, or some call it software tier 1 player. But that's a little different than a pure service provider. So first we have a clear vision, very sharply defined vision, and we can do that because we are very focused company. That's point number one. Point number two, I would say that one of the other differentiated factor is the people, the culture which we have built in the company of the innovation, science, technology, and really the passion we have built for the automotive mobility. Every person we hire, whether in the engineering part or even other functions like marketing, finance, HR, we make sure that the people are aligned with the vision. I can very clearly say that you can go to any of our 13,000 people and they will tell you what our vision mission is and what it means and what it doesn't mean. And the passion about software, the passion about cleaner, smarter, safer world, which is basically the driving force of this vision and this. I think that has created a very unique culture of the company. And I truly believe excited about what we can do in the future.
And sir, you speak of a culture where 13,000 people are coming together and they are, working in this field of technology, new ideas, innovations, spending a lot of money in research and development. But, most of your clients are Western automakers, right? And we are seeing a very different sort of a economic situation over there where, because of high interest rates, they are cutting down on their discretionary spending, which means that they are focusing more on their core operations rather than, perhaps invest in research and development. And that is also affecting your traditional IT companies as well. Are you seeing impact of that as well?
So actually, I may say that we are a part of a real core. That's why it is not discretionary.
Right.
So if you look at anything, we are a part of their product. So what is the core to a company?
Right.
It's core is the product. And and secondly, to your point, they are currently facing certain headwinds. But the way they look forward to come out of it by bringing a new models, new technology on the road, and the next level of technology. That's where we are their core partner.
Right.
That helps us to really, first puts us on our toes to remain ahead, and the second, to be a core part of my clients.
All right. And, we just talked about all your Western clients, Western automakers. Are you also working with Indian players? And what is this sort of a difference in mentality and how are they approaching, AI, artificial intelligence, self-driving cars and all this sort of technological advancements that we are seeing in the auto space?
So first is, it's not only Western, we are a global company, right? We have a presence coming from Brazil, USA, Europe, all parts of the Europe, and Asia is the fastest growing region. It's a complete, I would say, wherever there is automotive and mobility, there is a presence of KPIT, very clear. And so that is a point number one. We have these offices in order to not only service our client, but also we believe the innovation can come through different parts of the world. It won't come only through, right? So we have the largest presence outside India is in Munich or Germany, and of course Europe overall. So multiple places, and we are building our presence in Asia. So more and more in different parts. So that's how we differentiate ourselves and we are close to our client. So coming back to India, we are very bullish about India because it's the way you look at it, it's either third or fourth largest market. I believe there will be a lot what you call opportunity for innovation because when you have certain limitation or you have certain unique experiences, whether you have to find a solution for Indian market, and that's not really applying a technology which is outside to this market as it is. And we see a reasonable response from Indian market, like two-wheelers, absolutely, I think we are world class. I see the same coming in other parts. I think there are few companies in India, they are very, very, I would say, taking the right steps in our view. And there I see they have an actually opportunity to, really make an impact and be ahead in the pack. So for example, as you said, there are these European, Americans or other OEMs, they have their cost structure, they had the way they are set up, right? And then the China has a different story. I think India has its unique story based on these two areas. And I really hope that becomes a reality because automotive mobility is such a big part of the overall economy. And we'll be very happy. We are very engaged with most of them. And we will be very happy to contribute our experiences, but more importantly, bring this uniqueness to Indian market.
And I think you make a absolutely brilliant point over there, sir, that, perhaps Indian markets, we are seeing a faster change in consumer behavior as well, where our local, automakers are adapting to it. Now, your typical Indian, maybe perhaps 15, 20 years ago, or when I was young, I mean, a car that you would buy, it would be a part of your home and it would stay with you for 10 years. Right now, the consumer behavior is shifting where they want a car full of features. And they are ready to part with it in the next 3 years if a new technology comes into the forefront. How are you tackling that? The changing consumer sentiment of Indian car buyers.
I think that is the case worldwide, and the point there is that's where the software plays a very big role because earlier you used to buy a car and it used to get outdated in few years, 2-3 years, because there will be a car with a very different features. Now the innovation and etc. And as I said, as more opportunity come for outside car technology integrated with the car, within the car, it will be even much faster. Now that is the opportunity for innovation because the software can update the car and keep it live for all the life. Maybe 12 years, 13 years, whatever that life would be. So actually that makes it more exciting, it really becomes a very updated product, and companies like us can really bring innovation and change with the times.
And now, Mr. Patil, I want to focus on what at least I find the most exciting aspect about your company, which is sodium-ion batteries. Now, the work began on it, I think, in January of this year. Talk to us about it. What is sodium-ion batteries and how it could perhaps, alleviate this dependence that we have built on lithium-ion batteries?
So first, I want to tell you that any research or this takes long time. So we have been at it for last 7 years. This is not something today we are doing, but we have invested in this for last 7 years. And the genesis of this is exactly what I mentioned to you, is we have to solve the problems of local market for India. So when we were looking at India, the temperature India has, also the dependency on the raw material, the self-sufficiency we can get with any raw material, we thought that we have to look at another chemistry and where we can do charging fast, for example, even two-wheelers or three-wheelers or trucks or the large vehicles. So that is when we started looking at tackling that issue. That's when the sodium ion battery was conceptualized, and we have been working at it. And we are happy at a level where it is today. And I'm sure it will take some now time to take it to the mass production part. But we are very excited. We are also fulfilled. It is in line with our vision, which is reimagining mobility for a cleaner, smarter, safer world.
And so you made a good point over there that perhaps the need for sodium ion battery comes from the fact that India does not really have reserves. We are dependent on China for it. And are there any particular advantages of perhaps using a sodium ion battery compared to your lithium ion battery, apart from perhaps reducing that dependence on raw material per se?
Absolutely. I mean, there are many advantages, but one, of course, the biggest is independence of raw material. The second part is also about the charging you can do. You can do a fast charging at a high. And the third thing is the temperature. Looking at India temperature and the charging temperature, this can sustain that kind of a temperature without compromising on the life of battery.
And is it as stable as a lithium ion?
Absolutely. It will take a little bit of a time, but not too long, to catch. No, but the best application for this also could be a little different than what it is. Of course, it will. I believe it can be wherever you want to do frequent charging. So whether it two-wheeler, three-wheeler, or and in cars, it has been already there is one car which has been launched in Europe by one company, Chinese company. But I think for commercial vehicles, this will be much more useful in addition to that. So this, I don't think it's a long cycle. It will happen in the next few years.
Next few years. And again, I think as you said, there are certain advantages of using sodium ion compared to lithium ion. One being that it's better suited to our climate, so perhaps a more stable charging ecosystem as well as a faster charging ecosystem. So that I think solves a lot of problems, because that is the big lag time between charging. So you need to stop for 30 minutes, 40 minutes to get your battery charged to about 10, 20, 30% or so. And in a country like India, where because the population is so much and you see all the infrastructure and you see huge petrol lines for internal combustion vehicles, I think that would be a really, really big technological advancement.
And you will be surprised with what this means also. Like it's the experience, right? We are trying to reduce the experience of charging, not only for sodium, even for lithium, for example. So, last year we invested into a gaming company, which only in automotive gaming, in the sense it is only for the gaming in the car. And one of the use cases is when people are charging, they need to do something, right? So it takes care of some of that time, because people, especially young people, but these are casual games, these are not hard games. So even the family or this can really be engaged.
So your car is essentially self-sufficient. You don't need to find a coffee shop to spend that 40 minutes of time.
Absolutely, you can always order from the car and while you are playing the games.
Order from the car while you're playing games. I mean, that's actually a very good user case scenario that you just laid out for us. But sir, one final question from me. KPIT has made a mark in the industry. What makes you guys stand out?
No, I think our passion, I think our people, and the passion comes from our vision and mission, and the people make all the difference. And I must say that the kind of relationships we have built, deeper relationships we have built with our clients, and the respect which we get from them makes us going.
So passion, vision, mission and the client relationship is what makes KPIT stand out in a space that is ever evolving, and we are seeing new players emerge, but KPIT Tech has made a mark in the industry and it's one of the leaders of course over there. And I think on that note we should end this interview. Mr. Patil, I think it was, you shared some great insights with us, and I think at least for me, I got to really appreciate the company like a KPIT more from this interview, because we have a better understanding of how you operate and what the real mission of the company is going forward. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Pleasure.